Gisela Tete Agoti. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good.
This is your favorite song or one of them?
One of them.
One of them.
She's good. She's good. She's
yeah,
a
she
very good
is.
artist.
Very, very good. And it's good to have you this morning as
Thank
well
you.
on our All Women's Affair show today.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to it. Also joining us from the side of the NPP, she is the National Communications Team member, and she is Ellen Amatako. Hi, Ellen.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So if I ask who your favorite song or artist, or well, who your favorite artist is?
Female or male?
Female.
Female, Becca Adina.
Okay.
And then maybe Yemi
Alade.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
And male,
Yeah.
I'm Team Sack.
Oh, Team Sack, all the way. Hey. Well, good morning to all these artists as well. Keep churning out all those great tunes that we love. Let's start off with our first story for today. And the NDC MPs have said that they want the Auditor General to compute interest accrued on the refunded 899,000 Ghana cedis by First Lady, Her Excellency Rebecca Akufo-Addo. Yesterday, they addressed the press, and the Deputy Minority Leader, James Kluche Aveji, says he wants the Auditor General to verify the sources of refunded monies by the presidential spouses to ascertain if the monies paid to them since 2017 were actually spent or if it was still sitting in their respective accounts without being used. Take a look.
The first question is that since 2017, that she started receiving this salary, does it mean that she doesn't spend the money and she kept the money in her account all this while? If the answer is yes, it means that she did not need the money. So why did she take the money in the first place? If that is the case, refunding the money now, you must also compute the interest that the money would have accrued and pay that same to government. So we are calling on the Auditor General to go into the accounts of the First Lady and the Second Lady, first of all, to ascertain that the money she refunded is the money she actually received. That is number one. Two, also to compute the interest that that money would have accrued if that money had been put into any interest-bearing account, so that that money should also be refunded. The interest component should also be refunded. Third, to ascertain whether there is sufficient money in the account so that the check that she has issued will not bounce. Yeah. The fourth one is also, if she is now refunding the money, it means that she is not interested in any state fund. For that matter, all state funding of her NGO should also be audited by the Auditor General, and then all those money should also be refunded to them.
The controversy this whole issue gives rise to has actually induced the First Lady and the Second Lady to say that, okay, we have not even written to accept the new proposal. We are rejecting it. If even the allowances given us is an issue, we are paying back. Then they go again. Some are saying she's arrogant. Some are saying her account should be checked. Thank you very much. If that is the case, the account of Lordina Mahama, Her Excellency, respectfully, we must start from here. We must start from all the First Ladies. All of them, we have to. I agree to what they are saying. Yeah. But it couldn't have been only one First Lady. Two, since when in this country did we start auditing NGOs? I'm not a legal practitioner. The fact of the matter is that my brothers from the NDC, it's not about Ghana. It's all about political power. They don't care about the forward movement of this country. Yeah. The very thing that they introduced, the very thing that they did in bigger measures, the very thing that they are part of the approval system, look at what they are doing. Do they really love this country? Instead of them concentrating on alternative policies, every day is about propaganda. 21st century, Africa is tired of propaganda. We need to love this country, work as one body. The fact of the matter is that the First Lady has rejected. She's ready to pay, or is even paying whatever she took. If they think they have something wrong with it, we should start from Lordina Mahama.
All right, and also that is a response from the side of the NPP. That's Stephen Amwa. He is the MP for Nshaeso, and he was responding to those demands and questions that were raised by the minority side in Parliament. And so this comes on the back of letters that were released from the office of the First Lady and the Second Lady indicating that they were going to release or refund the monies that had been paid them from January 2017. And in fact, let's just go back to that letter from the First Lady yesterday, the first one that said that it is important to state the payment of such allowances existed and was made to previous First Ladies in the course of the Fourth Republic prior to Mrs. Akufo-Addo becoming the First Lady, and she did not request to be paid any allowance. She only received that which existed and attached to her status, albeit informally. That notwithstanding, the public discussion has been laced with some extremely negative opinions, in some cases, which she finds distasteful, seeking to portray her as venal, self-serving, and self-centered, a woman who does not care about the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian. And then Ghanaians started asking for receipts. And so later in the evening, another statement was released from the office of the First Lady, and that said that I'm directed to forward here with a Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited check number 000002 for an amount of 899,097 and 84 Ghana cedis, and says that it's been the full refund for monies received from the 7th of January 2017 to date as allowances to give to Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic. And so that has been released. And for those of you who are asking for receipts, some are saying this is still not good enough. They actually want to see the money. You guys, sometimes it's amazing. But let's find out what my guests think about this. And I'll start off with Gisela because, of course, these are the questions that are being raised by the side of the minority. And the MPP says that you're going a little too far, because if you're making these demands, then we should make similar demands for the former First Lady, Her Excellency Lordina Mahama, and others. What do you say?
Thank you very much. Good morning to listeners. Good morning to Autu Senior West, and happy birthday to my younger sister Gabriela.
Oh, okay.
She's more frequent on your program.
Yes,
than myself. Yes.
Yeah.
This whole saga, I call it that, is rather a bit unfortunate, but I think it brings to bear the bigger picture of governance issues. Everything that is happening is about something to do with governance gone wrong. First ladies are entitled to the allowances as they come into office. They have their own expenses they must take care of. They have wardrobe. They have other social... everybody has something to spend on whatever it is. And I think maybe all this while there should have been some regularization of it in a way. Because even what the allowances are portrayed, I think you've seen on social media, the whole components and everything, it's a bit grey. And some of these things should not have been coming to the public domain in the manner in which it's, and everybody's talking about it. And it brings to bear some taint on the office of First Ladies. Cutting across, it now seems to portray them in the light of their selfish, they could be selfish and so on and so forth. I think, to be fair, she chose to refund the allowances. Ghanaians didn't say she should refund the allowance, but maybe she couldn't stand the heat. If, according to Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, they had been paid the salaries, and she was refunding the salaries that had been backdated, well, that was another matter, because allowances seems to be given to all the First Ladies. But she chose to refund the allowances as well. That means she's saying that she doesn't want any money, any state money at all. And then now it has opened another Pandora's box. So what about your NGO? And then it's just going to go on and on. It's almost like it's a never-ending. In another 3-4 hours, you may hear something different. Another letter will come out, and so on and so forth. It's getting too murky. But the minority's call, I think, is legitimate because, like I said, it's about governing issues and accountability and so on and so forth. I don't think about the allowances she needed to refund them, but she has.
She didn't need to? Well, like she said, it was based on the public outcry.
Yes, based on the public outcry. There are differences. There's an allowance and there's a salary. My understanding is that the salary that was paid to them.
Well, so we're being told that that's not exactly salary. It's just the formalization of the allowances that they were receiving anyway.
But the formalization within what context? Within what legal context? Because the professors' committee, I think, had no right to push her under the Article 71 holders. It is not, they don't qualify to be called in that category at all. But then this now brings to bear on, so what rules or what laws are going to be around the whole First Lady's job? In fact, what is their job description? What activities are they supposed to do? And I think that I'm bringing it back to the whole governance issue, that you have to sit down and actually state it clearly for everybody to know what they're entitled to and what they are not entitled to. To be fair, they have to be entitled to something.
Yeah.
The quantum is another matter. The backdating is also, especially in these times of hardship. And so if Ghanaians are angry and upset about this, naturally so. Because the quantum, this is huge.
But, you know, your members are saying that she should pay with interest. And that's what we need to understand. Why is that demand being made?
Because, again, that's why I'm just trying to bring it back to the whole allowances that she's been getting since she was the First Lady. Nobody has asked her to pay back this. She voluntarily has paid it back. So they're like, okay, if you're paying it back, then pay with interest.
But why should she pay with interest? I mean, is it not good enough that she has returned the monies, especially because Ghanaians were really criticizing her and her office for taking these monies?
Well, that is a bit difficult to say. But it also brings the minorities press conference they did yesterday.
Yeah.
They also talked about funds to the Rebecca Foundation, especially state funds, where I think GNPC giving about 750,000 or so to a foundation. And that opens another Pandora's box again about accountability of NGOs, the first ladies, second ladies, and all those ladies in higher office. And generally maybe accountability on the whole in NGOs. So maybe there has to now be that, as Parliament, as lawmakers, we have to now maybe look at that system and what is going to be able to, how are we going to be able to streamline that as well? Because that's, again, and it comes back to governance issues again. That sometimes you have to get certain things right. Like I said, she can't seem to take the heat. And so she has refunded. About the call of paying interest, my second deputy leader, he knows, he is the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. So if he's making that request, he knows on why he's asking that, making that request.
But that's representative of the minority in Parliament of which we are part
Exactly.
of.
And so he as my leader, and like I said, he's a chairman of the Public Accounts Committee.
Yeah.
In his position as that, he can demand that. And so I stand with the minority on whatever issues whatever my leaders are saying in regards to this.
Well, the MPP are saying that if you're making these demands, then we should also backdate, and I'll use that word advisedly, to the former First Lady, Lordina Mahama. Maybe it's time for her to also refund monies to some extent, or we should start making inquiries into the monies that she received as allowances while she was First Lady. Is that fair?
Then you're going to have to go through the whole spectrum of all the First Ladies in the Fourth Republic.
Which is what Ghanaians are asking. That maybe it's time we start looking into monies that other First Ladies receive. So we don't just let it sit on the current First Lady, but also go back to them. Even there are some members of your party, and Honorable Mutala Mohammed, MP for Tamale Central, has said it, that he doesn't even think that allowances should be given to First and Second Ladies at all. Because, again, their job descriptions are not defined.
They're not defined.
And so they should not have received allowances from, Her Excellency Nana Akunedu's time up until now.
And so this rather brings to the bigger picture of how do we formalize a system around these First Ladies and what because they do carry out some activities. It's just a system that should be around them that has to be formalized. Sometimes certain things happen, it's not come to anybody's attention. All of a sudden, with all the brouhaha around, they're like, hey, we have to do this. That's how progressive laws can be sometimes. So I think the call can even go back beyond Madam Lordina Mahama, beyond Nana Akunedu, beyond to all the other Mrs. Liman, and so on and so forth. And we have to, at this point, you can't just single out people. No, then it should be Madam Lordina. It should be Nana Akunedu. No. Then you have to, that's why the system has to now see how it's going to be taking care of this whole First Lady and Second Lady thing.
Ellen, so the NDC, before the press conference yesterday, had indicated when this issue came out that the MPP was trying to sneak in the emoluments for the First Lady and trying to officialize it and make it a salary for them. And so that is what they didn't understand, because constitutionally, they are not Article 71 office holders. And so that in itself was totally wrong. And now the First Lady has returned it, and they're saying that this is not a show of good faith, and that if the public had not really criticized, she may not have refunded these monies. Now they're saying as well, the NDC is saying that she should pay with interest. What do you say?
Good morning once again, and let me also say a happy birthday to Gabriela Tete. She's my usual morning political partner. So yesterday when I saw that I'd been paired with Auntie Gisela, I went like, so it looks like I'm tagged with this family.
For a long time to come, huh?
So Gabriela, happy birthday. And let's move on to this whole matter. First and foremost, I would like to emphatically state that the First Ladies have not been paid any salaries. Because the news going around is that they've been paid salaries, and not just been paid salaries, the salaries have been backdated. The First Ladies have not been paid any salaries. All they have taken are the allowances that they came to meet and they were being given, and they continually took. The Professor Yain Tiamwa committee suggested that they be paid monies or salaries equivalent to those of a cabinet minister.
Ministers, yeah.
But it was a suggestion. It has not yet been paid. So please, those who are all over, giving them stress, with all due respect, that they have been paid certain amounts of money. And I heard Honorable Atuforson, is it yesterday, stating that they have been paid in excess of 1.5 million Ghana cedis. They have not been paid.
So the monies that they refunded,
So the
what's
monies that they refunded are the allowances that they received when they came into office in 2017.
But you're saying
That's
that
all other former first and second ladies do receive.
Okay, but this issue came to the fore because we were told that the president had agreed to go ahead with the recommendations.
The president
of
has
Professor
not
Yain
agreed
Tiamwa.
to go ahead with anything. The Professor Yain Tiamwa committee is a constitutionally mandated committee that was set up to look into the emoluments of Article 71 holders. And in that committee, they made a suggestion. The whole, what do we call it, the whole report was sent to Parliament, and the 7th Parliament passed it.
Yeah.
So this whole report has been passed by the 7th Parliament. What I'm trying to say is that the implementation of the report haven't even started yet, unless the parliamentarians or the Article 71 holders can tell us that they've also received certain monies.
So why were they backdated?
Usually, the explanation I got, and I think Auntie Gisela would, when you are appointed as a minister, a president, Article 71 holder, you are paid the salaries that was agreed in the previous committee, and I don't know the one that came before Professor Ntiamwa. I've forgotten the name.
I'll get the name.
So,
I have it here somewhere.
the emoluments that was agreed there, when you come in, you are paid whatever it is that is agreed to your position. And you are paid on account. Being paid on account means you are given what is there till getting to the tail end of your term, another committee is set. And when they give you your emoluments, they do what we call a rationalization. So if you're supposed to be paid 20,000, and you were paid 10,000 on the previous one, then you get your difference of what? 10,000.
And these are recommendations that were made by Professor Yain Tiamwa?
No, you are asking how the ministers how are they being paid? And I'm explaining that when, assuming tomorrow morning I'm appointed as a deputy minister, I go into office. There's no committee set for this current administration yet. Usually they are set in the 3rd year. So I'll be paid on the recommendations of the Professor Yain Tiamwa committee. I don't know if you get what I mean. That's when they start paying. So I'll be paying, if it's 1,000 cedis, 2,000, I'll be paid that. Now getting to the end of my term, it is calculated. Maybe the other committee will come up and tell us, Ellen should have been paid, as a deputy minister, she should have been paid 3,000 cedis. Then there's a rationalization done. So I have been paid 1,000 cedis. My 2,000 cedis, you give it back to me because it's my money. I don't know if you get it. So those are the monies we are talking about. And what I'm trying to say is that even those monies, as we speak now, it hasn't been paid yet. So right now, all our ministers, all of them are still being paid on account.
Okay.
That's the explanation I got. And if I'm wrong, please, they should tell me. But what the first and second lady have been receiving all along are allowances that was agreed on, and they've been paid that. Then we all go to the market. And for Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, and by the tone of her letter, I don't see anything arrogant about it. What I see is a lot of pain and a lot of, I don't know, maybe she's uncomfortable with everything. She stated it clearly, that she's uncomfortable with the sort of comments and the sort of personalization of her and the second lady. She's uncomfortable with it. So she wants to return the money. And she has returned the money. Now that she's returned the money, what's her problem about her being, paying interest?
Interest on the
and
money.
then going into her account. What right do we have as a citizen, as Ghanaians, to go into her account? Have we appointed her to any position? Have we employed her? Did we vote for her? I'm asking all these questions because these are the questions we were asking her on reasons why she should even receive those allowances. Some of us were saying, who employed her? Who voted for her? It's her husband we voted for. So right now that you want to go into her account, on what rights?
But it's also based on the recommendations by the Professor Yantian of the committee that
she said
they
she
should formalize the allowances.
And she said, as we speak now, it hasn't been done. Nobody has formalized those allowances.
Has the president not given the go-ahead for these payments to be done?
The president has given his go-ahead as he should by the Constitution. Parliament, 7th Parliament has done it, and they are in the process of doing it. And then this whole brouhaha came up.
The minority are saying that they did not approve of this recommendation.
Who didn't approve of it?
The minority. And so
were they not
this
in
was
the 7th Parliament?
No, but they're saying that, the majority had more numbers in Parliament. And so even though they raised objections, and they're saying that the minority chief whip
as for the minority, I
believe
believe they should.
And they were overpowered.
They shouldn't attempt to take themselves out of the 7th. I mean, when the good things come, they are part. But when people are asking questions, they are not part. What do they mean by they were in the minority? Were they not part of the 7th Parliament that passed it? Or when they passed the bill or the whatever it was, they said it was the majority who passed it. What was said is that it's the 7th Parliament of Ghana.
But to be fair, we all know that the majority had more numbers.
It doesn't matter whether majority have more numbers or not.
Regardless, if the minority had more numbers,
how come we are not hearing about it till now? They shouldn't bring that up. They shouldn't. You said she shouldn't take it. We have all been on her case. The woman said, it's okay, take your money. I am not even interested in any other further monies. Perhaps future first ladies will be. Past first ladies will be interested. But her, as Rebecca Akufo-Addo, she's not interested. Let her leave her be. We now want to go further and probe into her finances. And that's the question I'm asking. We are probing into her finances as what? Have we employed her? What is it? Why are we probing into it?
But that's why there are recommendations also, and these are from people, even from former President Mahama, that this time around, maybe we should send a bill to Parliament because Article 71 is an entrenched, constitution. And so if we want to change it and involve more people, it has to go through a referendum.
We cannot fault the First Lady for returning the money she has taken. When somebody gives you money, you have every right to say, I don't want, or I want. Auntie Becky says she doesn't want. Let us leave it be.
Should we extend it to former First Ladies?
That is something we all have to decide. It's a personal decision. She says she doesn't want. If a former First Lady also says she doesn't want, good for us. We get more money into our purse.
Okay.
If she wants, she can keep because she didn't get it illegally. But this current one says, I don't want, Madam Wase.
All right.
And that one too, we don't understand.
Auntie Gisela, I mean, a lot of people are saying that we have not been fair to the First Lady because of the way that we handled the situation and the kind of backlash that she received on social media. Because, again, the minority are saying that they did not even know that First Ladies were receiving allowances in the first place. And if they knew, they would not have allowed it. Why did they not? Well, yeah, that's what they are saying. And Honorable Murtala Mohammed said it right here on the show, that he was not even aware that allowances were being paid. But if he was, he doesn't even think that they should have received these allowances. Why were objections not raised in the past? Why did we have to wait till now?
And I also didn't know that they were receiving allowances. But there might be something behind the scenes. Because look, they have expenses that they also incur, to be fair to them. I mean, wardrobe alone would be a tidy sum. But I know that they have offices that are given to them by the states. I think they are maintained by the states, and so on and so forth. And you see, once you're giving something by government, allowances, maybe that also puts you in that arena of you have to be accountable. And asking for a probe may not also be unusual, because these are government monies. They were given to you. And you were not asked to refund. You see, I just want to emphasize that the governance system around it has been has been so porous. And that, I think, is we should, at some point, we will keep on arguing about she refunded, she didn't refund, she's gotten, she hasn't gotten, who got, who hasn't got. But then moving forward, we have to quickly put a system in place for first ladies, second ladies, wives of chief justices, wives of speakers, spouses of chief justices, spouses of speakers, and especially those higher level, maybe Article 71 holders or so. What exactly is it going to be around them?
But the wife of the Chief Justice or husband of the Chief Justice, they don't play ceremonial roles like the first and second ladies.
No, they might. It might be, maybe it's just not gotten to that point, but I'm sure at some point they could. So you have to kind of put them all in the same category. Who is number 3? Who is number 4? Really? And if the wife of maybe the speaker is invited to a first function, she starts performing certain roles that in her private life she could have just sat down just to support her husband, or if the speaker is a female, to support the wife.
Can we afford this as a country? And you see, that's the other issue that people raise, that the timing has been wrong. Because already we're dealing with loans for MPs, $28 million, at a time when we're told we don't have that money. And now this issue as well.
The timing has been wrong. That's true. But again, I emphasize on the whole governance system of it. There has to be a system in place for this. Are they not given at all? Then it is clear that they are not given anything at all. Are they supposed to be given something for hours that they work? Or are they supposed to be given whatever it is? There's too much ambiguity, and it's just a very gray area that I think needs to be addressed very quickly. Because if we don't do that, we're going to go, every little thing that is going to come around these first, second lady, and then soon the spouse of the Chief Justice, and you never know what's going to follow after that. So if it is these first 4, I would not even just have the first 2, or add the next 2, because and it's not that I'm just trying to expand the expenses in the public place, but it is a reality. Either they are given something or they are not, and that discussion has to be had. I mean, right now it's in the public domain. People are not happy with it. Yes, naturally so. So much hardship. Teachers are asking for an increment, and it's just a very little, and they are haggling over just a small percentage. And then, and Auntie Rebecca's husband also says you can't be a millionaire without being, and so much is going on at the same time that this is a huge quantum. And then, but again, I keep on emphasizing the governance around this. And I think it has to be resolved very quickly, because we're in 2021. This government has 3.5 years to go. What is it going to be for the first ladies? Either they know that they'll get nothing, or they'll get something, or how is it going to be regularized or unregularized or whatever. I think that she's sending one letter ahead, I'm paying this, I'm refunding this, I'm not going to, it's too murky and there's too much going on, and it just has to be.
But she's responding to the calls by the public.
And it's
First, she says that you people criticize me, so I'm returning the money. Then the public says, I want receipt. And so she sort of puts out that receipt to show that really she has paid back that money.
Well, that should be so. And then that now opens up the Pandora's box, like I said before, about her foundation. And then it's going to be also going to now move to the second lady's foundation. And so the whole discussion, we can't keep on talking about it on a tabletop. We have to go into it and agree on what it is and what can be and what cannot be. And what can be for the and if it is true that there's no proper bill for NGOs accountability, then that also quickly has to be put in place, and we have to start that discussion. Because anybody at all anybody has a right to set up an NGO. But you can also have an NGO. But what are the rules around it? That also has to.
Well, moving forward, so we're asking as well that until that referendum, until maybe officially or legally, the first and second ladies are made part of the Article 71 holders. We've seen in other countries where first ladies are going about their normal duties, and so Dr. Jill Biden is still doing her work, on the side. We're told that she's not even receiving, these salaries or allowances, as they say, by the way. And also in France, we see that the first lady still teaches. Can we afford to have the first and second ladies in the country go about their normal duties as well? Because now we're being told that there's no defined role. And so really it's not in their place to even construct those maternity blocks and to do all those other, things that they are doing to support the president.
Then you'd extend the whole discussion again to NGOs generally, because what she has is an NGO. That means NGOs don't have the right to do this or the right to do that. Obviously,
but what if they had careers before, and can they afford to go ahead and still, work as regular people, even though now they're first ladies? Because, like I said, we're being told that their office is not formal necessarily, so it's not even recognized constitutionally.
Well, they could, but then there will be a lot of expenses around them as well, because they are first ladies, second ladies. There will be a whole security detail around them. That's also a cost to the state. That will still come at a cost to the state.
Okay.
There are certain things that I think that we cannot escape. We still have to take care of them in a certain way. And so, if they feel they want to work, I mean, what stops them?
Are we not the same people who complain that how is the first lady working when she's supposed to be, you know, playing a ceremonial role?
Well, she's 70. In principle, she could be on retirement. She should be on retirement. But she's going around doing whatever work that she feels she's trying to use to support her NGO, work in her NGO, support. I mean, she's put up quite a few, I think, some maternity...
The maternity block in Kumasi, yes, and a number of others.
I think she saw a need and she's trying to address it.
Yeah.
So there is some good in what she's doing. And maybe but maybe now this is open the Pandora's box about accountability. And that's a separate issue. And I think we should separate what the good that she's doing from the accountability. Otherwise, you'll be clouded by, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. But yet the issue of accountability, especially because she has influence and she can influence funds going into her NGO and what that is now being used for. I think the speed in which she refunded the money, that has also brought this whole discussion up. And I think, 30+ million Ghanaians, we're all commentators in one way or the other. We all delve into issues. So that is why, we are where we are now.
Ellen, come in for me and tell me what do you think about probably the first and second ladies, going back to work.
The money. And she mentioned the woman is a 70-year-old woman. I mean, who has been in public and private service for quite some time. And so with all this coming up, I'm sure her children, her family, everybody can pitch in to get the money. So as for her sources or how she managed to pay, I don't think that is something we should even be talking about.
Well, the NDC says that if she's had this money in her account all this while, doesn't mean that she didn't spend it, and so that means she didn't need
Are we trying to say that she's not supposed to have this amount of money? Do we now want to go into what people have in their accounts?
But what are the allowances meant for? To run the office of the First Lady, I believe,
whatever it is meant for, I have no idea, and I'm honestly not interested. But she says she's returned it, and now we are asking her what is in her accounts. Sometimes we take certain things too far, and that is what she's protesting. We haven't employed her for any job. She just came along with her husband. And so why do we want to intrude into her privacy? And that's why I keep on asking, on what basis are we going to ask for her accounts to be audited? As what? Anyway, moving forward from all this and moving forward into making sure that a future First Lady will not have to go through all this. We keep on talking about First Ladies, First Ladies. We have actually genderized that position. In the next 20 or 30 years, I can be president. I intend to also run.
Yeah.
So when I do run, and Ghanaians, yes, I'm 39.
You're announcing it officially here.
Yes, I'm 39 plus about 20. I'll be about 59 years.
Okay.
I think I'll be good enough to go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So when I also go, and Ghanaians decide that Ellen can do a good job, so let's give her the opportunity, and I become president of Ghana, what happens to my husband if I have one at that time? Does he stop working? Are we going to treat him the same way we are treating Auntie Becky and other First Ladies who will come after her? So I agree on the point that we need to get a sort of formalization of that office. And we need to have a discussion. Is it that we do not want the spouses of our president and vice president to be anywhere near governance? So that you come by yourself. Your wife stays at home in your private life. When you finish your work at the Jubilee House, you go home. Nobody knows about your wife. She doesn't show up in public, said nothing. She lives her life. Because we are going to gradually get into a point where we are going to have younger people becoming our president, and we are pushing for that. What will happen? So because you are married to a president, or my wife is a president, then you truncate your career. What happens? And after you finish your term of service, and you are not even at the retiring age, like what happened with President Obama and his wife, what do? We need to have discussions on all of these, so that the people we put the people who come forward to become our presidential and vice presidential candidates, and then eventually become president and vice president, know that there's a sort of protection around, because as it is now, it is open. And I keep on talking about the genderization, because it's always been women who have to support our husbands and our men. Look at how the whole thing is going. So assuming Auntie Becky doesn't have any other, I mean, it's not by force to have an NGO. We can have a first or second lady who decides, I'll not do anything, I'm tired, I'll just support my husband quietly. It means we are cutting her off. Is that what we want to do? As she mentioned, wardrobe, even little fries like us, look at how much we use when you want to, look good. And for a first lady who has to follow her husband around, and she has to represent Ghana, and then, in effect, represent Ghanaian women. So we need to have a sort of formal something around it so that we do not go through all this business again. It's unfair to this current first lady. It's unfair to the former first ladies, because now they are also being pulled into it. And it is unfair to any future first lady or first gentleman.
Okay. We'll move on from this point. And yesterday, there was also another press conference that was held by the NDC with regards to the allegations against the Chief Justice, that $5 million bribery allegation that was brought to bear. And this is from, some issues between a chief and a lawyer, where the chief went to the General Legal Counsel and said that he had, had a lawyer to handle a litigation case for him, and he paid him 300,000 Ghana cedis. And later, the lawyer came back, allegedly asked for some amount of money to be able to, perform some gymnastics so that the case will be given in favor of the chief. Then the lawyer came back. He says that he's been asking for the money from this lawyer. The lawyer says that I'm not going to give it to you. And so he went to the General Legal Counsel because the lawyer had paid some amount of money and had not refunded the rest of the money. So he wanted the GLC to step in and get him his money. The lawyer releases a statement and says that the chief is the one who came back and later said he had found a way to get to the Chief Justice. And as a result, there were some allegations that the Chief Justice allegedly requested for some $5 million. And so he wanted to fire the lawyer so that he can get his case in favor of him. Now, the Chief Justice forwarded this issue to the CID to investigate the bribery allegations. And Asepa has said that, the Chief Justice did not have to go to the CID because Shraj is the institution mandated to handle this matter. Yesterday, the NDC held a press conference, and they are saying that with all that is happening, it's time for the Chief Justice to step aside so that investigations will be carried out. Gisela, I'll start off with you. What do you make of this whole situation? By the way, they are allegations, and so we'll treat them as such.
Thank you. I think that, so I know one of the players. I know the lawyer.
Okay.
I think he had an issue previously. There was a suspension or so, and then
with the GLC as well.
Yes. I don't think he will put himself again. I don't think he would intentionally put himself in a certain situation where he knows he doesn't know what he's handling. I saw his response to the whole case, and I'm sure. I mean, it's a moving story. So we all, like this. I think it's 15th. The committee is supposed to sit on the 15th, which is tomorrow. And I'm sure after that, we'll by all means get, because it's now a matter of public interest. Now, this is a very serious allegation against the Chief Justice. The Chief of Justice in this country. And so I expect it to be handled with the seriousness within which it has come up. And I can see the Ghanaians are watching, and Ghanaians are very discerning people. If this is not handled appropriately, for people to also realize, because now it's a case of public interest. In fact, the sitting and the investigation may even have to be public, because now everything is on social media, and I mean, everybody would want to know what exactly is going on. If it's not handled with the utmost sincerity, let me put it that way, this would call for the whole judicial system, questioning the whole judicial system and their own sustenance. Remember when Anas had his case with the judges and all the bribery allegations and so on and so forth? That opened a Pandora's box about the justice system. Now we are three arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. If the head of the judiciary has this issue, I think he with his own introspection, should know that it is a test of his whole system under him. And he is the head. So I'll just hope that, the investigation, the committee will sit tomorrow, and then, but whoever is going to be blocking justice should be moved out of that.
Blocking justice in what sense? And in this case, are you pointing fingers at probably the CJ, that he might, because of his position?
If it is, like you said, it's all allegations. If from what the lawyer wrote in his letter is true, that he wanted another different lawyer to be appointed other than him, sometimes there's no smoke without fire. And sometimes there could be some truths in some of these things. And I think this gentleman may know what he's talking about because he's been in a certain situation before, and I don't think he wants to go down that road again. Be that as it may, I would just hope that after tomorrow, we know what exactly the new dynamics are, and whatever committee or commission must be set up to really probe this and get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Because this is not, there's too much going on, and I bring it back to the same governance issue that we have with the First Lady's issue. There's too much going on, and too much, and then Ejura is another issue, so there's too much going on at the same time that we have to have closure in some of the issues. If it is this one that's going to be investigated properly and appropriately, and I think it has to be out in the public, because the letters are out in the public, and there should be no hush, no cover-up. Let people know what exactly it is or what exactly it is not. And then the law should take its course.
Ellen, come in for me and tell me what you think, because now the concerns are that Ghanaians have lost hope in the legislature, they've lost hope in the executive, at least the judiciary is where we have hope, and now these allegations are also coming, to the fore. And so that also places the judiciary in a very difficult, situation where Ghanaians may eventually also lose hope in the judiciary, and that's a big problem. But again, these are allegations. NDC says, step aside and allow the investigations to take place. What do you say?
Fortunately, Ghanaians are the ones who also voted for the 1993 Constitution, which we are all using. So losing hope in the judiciary, losing hope in the executive, I believe is all part of the process of maturing as a democracy. We are coming from a background where you couldn't speak on anything, and now we have gotten into an era where everybody and everyone can say everything to anybody. So that shouldn't make anybody lose faith in any of the three arms of government. What it means is that now politicians, that's from I and Auntie Zella, the legislature, where she's also there, and then the judiciary. Now we know that every single act is under scrutiny. There's a magnifying glass on you. So you should just be careful on what you do. Moving on to what's happening. Let me put my thoughts in 3 ways. Number one, let me make a public declaration. I'm a law student, so sometimes when you are talking about your seniors, you have to be extremely careful. So I'll put it this way. Let's see how it goes. Whether the Chief Justice had a right to go to the CID or to Shraj, he has a right to go to any one of them. He chose the CID. Let us leave it be. The NDC also has a right to demand for what they are demanding. Let us leave it be. He also has a right to reply to them. The important thing is that I agree with what Auntie Gisela said, that we need to make sure that whoever is doing the investigations, the CID, Shraj, the Ghana the General Legal Council, they do it, and they do it well, so that nobody comes after the whole fact and brings us evidence. And let me insist on the evidence. No allegations, evidence that they did not do their work well. That is where we'll start losing hope in the judiciary. As it is now, and anybody, as I said, and everybody can make accusations against anybody and everybody. The important thing is to bring your evidence, and let us see, and let the appointing authorities and those who are in charge go through. And if we can have it public, I agree, we should do it. Okay. Just like how we are doing with the Ejura incident. Everybody sees progression. We started from here. We've moved from here. Now we are going here. It takes away the sensationalism. It takes away the noise in quotes, and then we see the truth as it is. So yes, I do agree that there should be a commission on this matter because it is the Chief Justice that we are talking about. And for me, I do not have any evidence to believe whether it is true or it is not. Because when whoever was going to ask for the bribe, I wasn't there.
Yeah,
we were not there. It was
course.
between the two of them. When he was, and the thing is that for the two people involved, I'm talking about the chief and the lawyer, it looks like they have both admitted to something. Because the giver and the collector of the bribe, you are both at fault. But whether the Chief Justice actually asked for it and received any, that is what we have to determine.
Well,
for
he
the
says
two of
that
them,
he never did.
Thank you. So now they will have to prove what shows that he did. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
What if there was also an intent?
What?
Okay.
So that's why they have to prove. And we should set up that commission, or the CID, or whoever has to do their work should do it and let us see. Now, whether the CJ should step down, I think it's a call too early. Let's see how things will progress.
But they're saying that he cannot be a judge in his own matter.
It's not his matter. What is before him?
He chairs the general.
He chairs
counsel,
the general,
exactly.
yes, he
Counsel.
chairs it, but he's not the chairman of the disciplinary committee that has to deal with this.
But does he not have a hand in, of course, what happens?
No, he doesn't.
Eventually?
The disciplinary committee, for the best of my knowledge, is on their own, chaired by, I think, Justice Duce.
Disciplinary
So-
committee
Of the
GLC?
GLC. Yes.
Okay.
I think so. So he doesn't have any direct hand in it as it is now. Let's see how it goes. Going
Okay.
forward, if he has to step down, I'm sure the Chief Justice knows what to do.
Well, coming back,
No, step
to...
aside is different from stepping down.
Well, if he has to
So,
step aside,
yes,
I think he knows what to do. As I said, it's too early. If
Okay.
there's a determination of that case in court tomorrow, or the
I think
GLC.
the GLC, no, there's a committee is going to sit.
Is it tomorrow or today?
Well, on the 15th.
15th.
Yes.
Good. So let's see how it goes with that one. And then
Okay.
we can move on from there.
Well, the reason why SEPA is saying that the Chief Justice should not have gone to the CID, and I'll just read what the Executive Director of SEPA, which is the Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, his name is Mensa Thompson, said. He says, I'm shocked why the Chief Justice had rushed to the CID in this matter when he's the head of the judiciary and understands the law more than I do. And he knows that in matters of bribery and corruption against public officers, the original jurisdiction lies with Shraj. And this is an interview that he granted. And so he thinks that Shraj should have, of course, he subsequently directed that a formal complaint, which is a Chief Justice, be made to the CID of the Ghana Police Service for investigations and the necessary action taken on the matter. But Mr. Thompson says the decision to petition the CID is unnecessary and that the only other option available to the Chief Justice was to petition the CID as a private citizen and not as the CJ.
Chief Justice.
Ellen.
That is why it is an opinion. That's what he thinks. So the CJ obviously thinks otherwise. And he has done it the way he thinks is fit. Let's see how it goes. If he feels the Chief Justice should have gone to CJ, nothing stops him from going to the Shraj to also lodge a complaint as a citizen of Ghana that the Shraj should look into this bribery allegation. Nothing stops him. So as I said, there's an exchange of opinions. That's what he thinks.
Gisela, come in for me. What do you say? Do you agree with what Asepa had said?
If that is what the law, if that is that's the direction that the law guides us to go, then that is where he should have gone.
That's not what the law says.
That's not what the law says.
No. The
I'm
law
not,
gives
I'm not a lawyer, so I will not.
The law gives you the right
Okay.
to choose if
Which
you want to report
institution?
your case, depending on what the case is, where you want to take it. And as I said, the CJ thinks the CID is the best place. Mr. Thompson thinks he should have gone to Shraj. That's what he
Or if
thinks.
he had gone to the CID, then he should have gone as an individual and not in the position
the CJ doesn't
of
think
Chief
so.
Justice.
So, sorry, the Chief Justice, the CJ doesn't
Yes,
think
yes.
so. So he can step forward and do that.
Okay, let's read some comments. Cookie is on standby. Let's see what people have to say about this issue. Welcome, Cookie.
Thank you. Now, first one says, good morning, ladies. It's really sad to see where Ghana is headed. If we allow the first and second ladies to receive emoluments, then we should as well prepare for emoluments for the brothers and sisters of the president and the vice presidents. Good morning, Bella. I don't think Madame Lodina should return the money. This is because the allowances were not given to her illegally. If Madam Rebecca has returned her money, it's her own decision. Leonard from Dansoman sent in that one. Hadi from Pig Farm says, is the First Lady going to return the GMPC 750,000 that was given to her from the public purse? A native doctor who invoked a storm on his people cannot prevent his house from destruction. Good morning, Bella. The minority should also advise Mrs. Lodina to return her emolument since her husband accused President Akufo-Addo wrongly just because the committee recommended to formalize the allowances. Mr. Mahama's wife has been taking this money since 2009. She has to refund our money, else we would force her to. Sir Gadfly from Kukurentumi sent in that one. Now, ask the NDC woman over there that upon which law did the NDC introduce the spouse's allowance for the first and second ladies? This is thievery. Ifo in Ho sent in that one. Bella, please keep bringing the ladies on this segment of the show. We are really enjoying the beautification and serenity on our screens this morning. And he had a tea for thanks. Like, thank you. Good morning, Bella. Let's call a spade. Do you think Madame Rebecca and Madame Samira could have easily refunded the money if they were in opposition? Awel from Tamale is asking that question. Good morning, Bella. Is the gender minister given the same resources as being given the First Lady by government and private organizations to do the same work? For all I know, the Rebecca Foundation was founded in January 2017. That means she founded it because she is the First Lady. I think what the First Lady did was the right thing to do because she thought of the public opinion than her own interest. She should be rewarded for that. Good morning, TV3. A humble suggestion. Now, if the First Lady and Second Lady need to be given salaries, I personally think it should be the political parties where their husbands are coming from, because right from campaign, all the campaign work and charity they do is in the interest of the political party. So they should be paid from their political parties. Last one says, good morning, Bella and your panelists. I disagree strongly with Madame Ellen that the call to probe further the finances of the current First Lady is not necessary. In any serious country, the state has the right to question any individual how they make their money and explain same. Mrs. Rebecca is a citizen of Ghana, and whether she works on her own or employed by the state, she is enjoined to act in accordance with the law. Abdul from Medina Firestone sent in that one. End of messages, Bella. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Cookie. And finally, I just want us to touch on the withdrawal of application for MC position. This was a statement that was released this morning, and it is the MCE for Ejura Seche Municipality, Mohammed Salisu Bamba. And so this morning, he says that I express sincere appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Republic, for the confidence reposed in me to serve in his first term. But he says, I write to withdraw my application for the position of MCE of Ejura Seche Dumase, and I arrived at this decision for the peace of the municipality and the general unity and growth of the NPP. I'm graciously thanking the good people of Ejura Seche Dumase constituency for giving me the opportunity to serve them in the 6 parliaments between 2013 to 2017 to the best of my ability. I have always worked in service of my party and country, and it is in this spirit that I'm withdrawing myself from consideration. I would like to firmly assure the people of the municipality, my party members, and the general public that I will continue to work for the general good of the municipality, my party, and the country. Auntie Gisela, what do you say to this? Has it come a little too early? Should he have waited until after the probe? Others are saying that maybe he saw this coming because the committee may have asked for him to step aside, which is why,
he's trying to jump ahead.
Do you think so?
Well, he has a right to want to make this declaration, if I can say that. And no one can stop him necessarily from doing that. Maybe he saw something ahead of time that, or he sensed something along that could be coming. So the honorable thing may be to resign rather than to be sacked or dismissed, from the race or whatever. But I think the bigger picture is that this investigation must also go through its natural course. And I hope that there will be no cover-ups. I think even in the course of some of the people being interviewed, you can see that the story, it's almost like they're telling stories, but they've taken the oath, whether you're holding a Bible or the Quran or whatever. I also hope that we get to the bottom of this. Kaka's family have to have closure. His wife and children and mother and siblings, they have to. the community has to have closure to know that the issue was investigated, the appropriate sanctions have been given to those who need to be punished, and then it's not going to happen again. And the whole country needs to see the outcome of what is actually going to happen with this. But even though he has resigned or he has withdrawn from the race, he shouldn't go anywhere. He should just stay and be called upon as and when he needs to also face the committee. Because I'm sure he may have to come back again. Because we need the proper, appropriate closure for this. And the investigation has to be true and sincere. If it is not, a jury can erupt in a different way. And you don't want this to now spill over to other communities and so on and so forth. I mean, what happened is unfortunate. And I think that the people have to have a bit more temperance and patience with ourselves, with each other. Because we cannot afford to let these sort of things happen in different pockets around the country. So if he's decided to withdraw from the race, well, I'm sure they thank him for his services, but he can't go anywhere. He still has to be hanging around to get to the bottom of this.
Okay. Ellen, pardon me, and he says he's doing this for the peace of the community. I don't know what you think about it. And of course, he had mentioned earlier when he appeared before the committee that I had to leave the community because security advised me to, especially because my family's lives were at stake. And even when I tried to return, I was told again that don't come back because this could escalate matters. And so he had to stay behind. But then they have been pointing fingers, at him with regards to the death of Kaka. Of course, this has not been proven.
He's a suspect.
This has not been proven, by the way. Yes. But then he even said that he does not know the two individuals who were arrested. He does not know them beyond being party members, even though the community members are saying that they were his bodyguards. And so they are alleging it has to be proven. We're waiting for the report of the investigation. But the fact that he's decided to withdraw from the MC position, the consideration for MC position, what do you think about it?
Well, I lived and worked in that area of Ghana for the past 4 years, the whole area, not Ejura in particular.
Okay.
The past 5 years, I was in Wenchi and Techiman. You know, they are all in the same geographical area. Ejura is practically in the middle of Bunu East, even though it's part of the Ashanti region. So you go through Ejura before you hit Atebubu and then go to the rest of Bunu East. And politically, I've been really working in the Bunu East and in the Bunu region. So I do know the dynamics of Ejura. And Ejura's dynamics are very different from almost everywhere else in Ghana. There's a huge migrant community in Ejura. Migrants in the sense that, not migrants as in outside Ghana migrants. People who have moved from their origins, or original places where they came from, and they have practically settled in Ejura. And they are more than the indigenous. So with that, and it's our brothers and sisters from the north who have moved down there. And it's not just with Ejura. You go through that whole line, Ejura, Kintampo, Techiman, it's like that. They are gradually getting more than the indigenous. And you know, with that, it comes with its political issues. Politically, Ejura used to be an NDC seat. It's been since 92. Then in 2016, the MPP picked it and then lost it again in 2016. 2020. So it is a mix of ethnicity, politics, a total, is the right word to use, melting pot. So you have to be extremely careful when you are dealing with things. Because you go through this case, Kaka was an MPP member. So it's a family affair. The MCE, I had an issue with him because I felt, knowing where he came from and his place, he should have resigned immediately. He shouldn't have waited for that. So
he should have resigned when Kaka died?
Immediately, this whole thing blew up because he's the head of security. Okay. And he dropped the baton. Well, he says he has resigned. Good for him. But he'll still have to sit down and wait and take responsibility for his action and for his term as MC. I do not want to say much because the committee is still going on. You might say something that you shouldn't be saying. But we are all quietly waiting for the reports of the committee. Okay. And we'll deal with it appropriately.
But he's an acting MC, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. He is. Well, he says he's withdrawn from that consideration, by the way, and who knows, maybe he would have been asked to step down anyway, or he would have had his position confirmed by the president. We're not sure what would have happened, but we're waiting. I'm saying that maybe it could have been either of the two. But
I think let's wait. Unfolding events.
That's why he... let's see how it goes. We're waiting for that report. Of course, today there'll be another sitting by the committee to probe further into the Ejura killings, and so we'll bring you all those details. But it's an all-women's affair on the show today. I think I've enjoyed myself, and I hope you have as well. I've been speaking to Ellen Amadako. She is a member. Deko.
Even though it's spelled A.
Oh, Deko. Okay, Ellen Amadako is a team member of the NPP communications team, and also Gezala Tete Agbotu is the MP for Ewutu Senya West. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Can we just talk about COVID for just a minute? Well,
okay.
Mask up.
I think
10 seconds, please.
I think people have to just step up on the caution, on the protocols, because it seems the numbers are rising. And I think the Delta variant, you cannot tell where it is and who has it and who does not have it.
Our health manager says
so Ghanaians should be a bit careful.
There are no space in the hospitals.
In the hospitals, the ICUs are full. And
ICUs
so please mask up like they're saying. And good morning to Alaji Hamza Pikfam. He says that, please permit me to use your medium this morning to salute Ghanaian journalists. In my humble opinion, I also think it's time journalists in this country come together and fight for their rights. The intimidation, harassment, and killing of a Ghanaian journalist is becoming one too many. It's become one too many on the part. Okay, you mentioned names. Unfortunately, I will not be able to, go into details of all of that because investigations are going to be carried out with regards to their threats. Of course, Multimedia Group Limited has put out, its statement with regards to some threats that Erastus Asaridonko, one of his journalists, the one who covered the Ejura killings, received as well. So we'll get into that maybe tomorrow. But this is still TV3 New Day.